Today, we're going to be hearing from the Devon dad who, inspired by his son, is going to swim the channel for charity. That's the Bristol Channel. It's got us thinking about the ludicrous things that some people do to raise money. We heard earlier this week from the former Royal Marine who's going to do an extreme triathlon, cycle Land's End to John O'Groats, swim the channel and climb the 3 highest peaks in the UK. And even I was once involved in a race to see who could climb the 14 flights of floors to the top of Plymouth Civic Centre the fastest. I didn't feel well at the end. Today, I'd like to hear what bizarre charity stunt you've been involved with. Use your number.
Michael Checker. BBC. Radio Devon.
0808 100 1034. What have you done to raise money for charity? Maybe you've run a marathon, shaved your head, something even dafter. Images of baked beans spring to mind. Did that ever actually happen? It did, you know. I can tell you about that later. I'm asking because of a charity swim that one Devon dad is gearing up to do. This is Neil Gilson, who's planning on swimming the Bristol Channel. Something that may have been done before, but Neil hopes to be the first person to do it, going all the way from Swansea to Ilfracombe. And he's doing it to help a charity called Pan's Panda UK after his son became unwell with a mystery illness. Neil, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Is this one of these things where you come up with the idea, then the closer it gets, you start thinking, what on earth have I let myself in for? Or are you still feeling uber confident about this?
Yeah, I'm confident, but I'm a bit scared at the same time.
That's probably quite a good combination, I suspect. Tell me about the background to this first of all, Neil. Tell me about Jack, your son.
Okay, so Jack was a happy, bubbly little boy. He was developing completely normally. But unfortunately, at the age of 18 months, he developed tonsillitis. And we noticed a sudden change in his behaviour, and he developed symptoms such as anxiety, OCD, he had a tic, he became aggressive and he stopped eating. And he went on to have tonsillitis another 11 times. And each time he had tonsillitis, those symptoms would get worse and worse. And it got to a point when it was so bad we just couldn't leave the house. We couldn't get him dressed because he had sensory issues, and he lost a stone in weight because he wasn't eating.
Wow.
So at that point, we were quite desperate. We didn't know where to turn. But my wife is brilliant at trawling the internet, and she actually came across a clip that was on TV, and there was a family on there talking about their son, and he had exactly the same symptoms. And it was like one of those light bulb moments for us both.
That must have been such a relief, just to think there is someone else. At least there's one other person who knows what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, it was amazing. But we were able to contact the doctor who was actually on the show, and we booked an appointment with him. And he prescribed Jack a long course of antibiotics. And we noticed a change after about 2 weeks into that course. An unbelievable change, really. And he went on then at the age of 3 to have his tonsils and adenoids out, and we've not really looked back since. He's thriving at school and he's back to his usual bubbly self. Wow.
So actually, as it turned out, the solution was relatively simple.
Yeah, I mean, PANS and pandas is a treatable condition. It's easily misdiagnosed with conditions such as autism and Tourette's, but it is treatable. It's basically triggered by an immune response which puts pressure on a part of the brain called the basal ganglia, which causes these physical and psychiatric symptoms.
Now, I'll say this once, and not more than once. It's paediatric acute onset neuropsychiatric syndrome. How did I do?
Yeah, good. There's there's 2 forms of that. There's PANS and pandas.
Yeah.
But there's lots of information on their website, panspandas.org, and they'll describe symptoms, and there's lots of help and links for people who are in a similar position to us. They're a great charity.
Now, I can absolutely understand why you want to support them and you want to do something for them. What was the light bulb moment that made you think, I know what I need to do? I need to swim the Bristol Channel. It's a long way, you know, Neil. It's a long way.
Yeah, I actually live in Ilfracombe and I stare across the Bristol Channel. I've lived there all my life and I've stared across there thinking one day I would love to do that, but I've never had a reason.
Yeah.
So it's given me that reason to do it.
What sort of preparation have you had to put in to do this?
Just lots and lots of swimming, partly in the sea, partly in the pools, and partly in the gym. Obviously, pools are shut at the moment, so I've had to adapt, but I'm still training hard.
And you're doing Swansea to Ilfracombe. How far is that?
It's 24 miles as the crow flies, but obviously the Bristol Channel boasts the second highest tidal range in the world. So if you take that into account, it's probably going to be probably more like 28 to 30 miles, and it's going to take around 16 to 18 hours.
So that is further than swimming across the English Channel, the Dover-Calais route that people, well, I say often do. That has been done on a number of occasions before.
Yeah, yes, it is further. Yeah.
And no one's ever done it, Wales to Devon, before. Is that right?
No, it has been done twice in the opposite direction, from Ilfracombe to Wales, but I'll be the first person to ever do it from Wales to Ilfracombe.
Is that harder for some reason, or is it just pure chance that in the
Um,
past people have done it the other way?
yeah, I'm not too sure. It shouldn't, technically it shouldn't be, but I think it's just by chance that the two people who did it before were Welsh and wanted to swim home.
And talk me through, I mean, clearly you're a good swimmer and you're an experienced swimmer. Have you ever done anything like this before?
I have, again, for Pans Banders charity. Last year I did a 24-hour swim in a freezing cold loch in Scotland, and had to do a mile every hour on the hour, and it was through the night, and the water was 10 degrees.
You're clearly not afraid of a challenge. When are you doing it, Neil?
17th of July is the window. It's a neap tide, so condition dependent. That will be the day that I leave.
Do you have to get any sort of permission to be able to do it? Obviously, it's quite a busy shipping channel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've got a really experienced pilot who's based in Swansea, and he actually piloted the first attempt. So he knows the Bristol Channel very well, and they sort out permission and contact with the other ships and the coast guards, etc.
Is there any part of the challenge that you're particularly not dreading exactly that you think is going to be the toughest?
It's just the constant swimming. I think the psychological battle, knowing that I would have done an hour, knowing that I've got another 15 to go.
Yeah.
Just that will be the battle. I think it's going to be more. It's obviously a very physical challenge, but I think the mental battle would be very, very difficult.
I'm just imagining what that moment's going to be like when you've been going for 14 hours or whatever, and you look up and you start to see the tip of Verity's sword sticking up on the Ilfracombe skyline. That's going to be a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I picture every time when I'm training in the pool, putting the miles in the pool. That sort of moment, getting out and seeing my family and giving them a big hug.
Wow, yeah, it's going to be incredible. Neil, listen, good luck with it. I'm sure we'll speak again beforehand, and let us know how it goes, won't you? It's a fantastic thing to do and a great cause, and great to hear that Jack is well on the mend as well.
Thank you so much. If anyone wants to follow my progress, they can do so via my Instagram page, marathon_swimmer85, and on there's a Just Giving link if anyone would like to donate to the cause.
Fantastic. I'll give that out again in just a second. Neil, thank you. That's Neil Gilson, who's planning on swimming the Bristol Channel to raise money for a charity that's helped his son. And if you want to track Neil's progress again, that Instagram tag is at marathon_swimmer85, at marathon_swimmer85. So this is what I want to talk about today. The bizarre and wonderful things that people have done to raise money for charities. It might be something you did 30 years ago. It might be something you're going to do next month. Whatever it is, if it's a bit wild, if it's a bit wacky, if you've got a great story to tell, I'd love to hear from you this afternoon. 0808 100 1034. 0808 100 1034. I know we're going to speak to a doctor who is going to be singing sea shanties for charity. And I asked whether he was a better doctor or a better singer. And he said,